Hello, everybody. How is it going today? So, welcome back to lesson number 4 of the 17 lessons that we'll be going over together. And in this particular video, we are going to be talking about the level 2 order book and what that refers to. So, what the level 2 order book refers to is the bids, the asks, and the actual order history. And it's very important that we understand the concepts between or behind what the level 2 order book does and how it interacts with the market and how prices can move up and down depending on who puts what and where. And it also gives us a very good visual representation of where these walls actually are. I'm sure you guys have heard of the concept of a wall, but for the people that haven't heard of the concept of a wall and what it actually refers to is simple, is this, right? Think of a wall as an impassable barrier that's that the market is having a lot of trouble getting higher than, right? So let's just go over what the order book is. I'm in a position right now, and I'm always going to be in positions in front of you guys, and you guys might actually see me wear some things differently in the same video because a lot of these videos actually take a lot longer than one day to actually make. So what the level 2 order book refers to is this right here. So for example, on this side right here, it is the people that are buying, okay? These are what we call the bids right over here. And this side right here is what we call the asks, okay? So the people that are bidding right here are the people that are buying. So every time you guys are actually selling something, you are going to be selling it to the side where the people are bidding, right? Now, every time you are buying something, you are buying something from the side where people are asking for a price. So that's simple. These are the people that are selling. So if you're buying it from the people that are selling. These are the people that are buying. So every time you're selling it to the people that are buying right over here. And if you guys look on here, this is the trade history right here. So what the reason why we want to acknowledge and give respect to this level 2 order book is because it tells us in real time the momentum change in the market and what people are actually doing at that specific time. It will give us a very good gauge of the momentum change and the price action in real time. Now, it is personally to me my absolute favorite way to learn and to engage with how the market is moving at what specific time, right? So if we notice right here, okay, I'm just going to take a snapshot so we can actually see it a lot better right here, okay? So there we go. So if you guys notice this guy right here, right, he has right here 95,000 orders. So we're going to actually go over every single column and what they actually refer to, okay? So if you look on this specific side right now, we're looking at IOTA, okay? This specific side right here refers to the amount that is at this specific price, right? So if we see, for example, this line right here only, what we see is that at $2.5841, right there, we see that there's 9,740, right? That is the total amount at this specific price and right there as well. Now, if we take a look right here, right, this refers to the amount, right, this one right there, at that specific price. If we look at $2.50, the next one underneath it, we see that there's only 11.6 iota that is being sold at that price. Now, what this does is this column to total right here, it takes both of these numbers right here, okay, and it generates this number right here to tell you the total. So the next column, it will take actually all three of these, right? Right here, and that will give you this column right here to tell you the total amount. So this line right here, just the 135, is how much is being sold at that specific price. But if you take this right here, that is called the cumulative price. The cumulative price gives you an idea of how much total there is actually being sold. So for example, if I were to go all the way down here, right? We see that at 338 right here, there's 338 that's actually being sold at $2.57 right there, right? But the total, all of these columns right here, okay, that will actually equal this number right here. We add it up, right? So what we see with this big number right there, 95,000, is that a single person is actually stacking up 95,000 coins altogether, which is a very big amount. So this right here would be considered a wall. A guy is single-handedly trying to move the market right now by himself. So these are very important concepts to understand, because when we see a single guy trying to buy 95,000 coins, we will automatically assume that he's a bigger player in the market and he's a market mover, right? So he's actually trying to manipulate the market in some way with a strategy of his to try to drive up the price. So let's actually close this now and see what this is actually at. So what we saw it at earlier was that he moved it up to about 57-ish, but what we're seeing is it's actually reaching kind of high RSI, and it just doesn't look like he's able to maintain the price any further right now. So it looks like this is almost ready to actually go down in price right here, right? So I'm actually very comfortable to add another 1,000 to my position right here. Okay, which I will actually be live trading in front of you guys quite often as well. Okay, actually, I'll add 2,000 to my position right here. Okay, I'm going to add another 4,000. Actually, this is $5,000 right here. All right. So let's see if I can actually make some small profit here in front of you guys as well. And we are going to go over the level 2 order books in immense detail in front of you guys, so you have a very broad understanding of exactly how these level 2 order books can actually impact your day-to-day trading. And we're also going to go over it when we're trading, we're going to go over it specifically from the level 2 order book right here and try to read it together out loud professionally as well, without a lot of jokes, to see what kind of price action we can actually end up getting. So what we're seeing right now on this side, as you guys can see, is that there's more red than green, right? There's more red than green. So this is actually going to be showing that more people are interested in selling than buying right now. But right now we see just very little quantities, right? That we just see a guy just sold 1,000 coins, right? 1,278 coins that he just dumped. You guys see me right there. So I'm a little bit of a bigger player as well that has dumped 2,000 on the market right here. And when people see $5,000 dumped onto the market, it might actually encourage other people to start selling as well. Now, you guys need to make sure that you really understand the concept behind these right here, okay? So notice that a lot of people are actually selling now, right? Lots of people are actually selling their orders right here, okay? They're definitely interested in dumping the market. If we pause it and take a look at it, right, you guys will see in real time that a guy just sold 22,000 of his coins, then sold another 44,000 about of his coins. So this generally to me will mean that the market is very interested in it moving down. So if you guys see a lot of these reds on the screen in the order history, this will show you in real time what people are more so interested in doing. So if you guys saw a lot of red on the screen right here, would you think that more people are interested in buying or in actually selling? Definitely, you would think that people are interested in selling right now, right? So we don't know exactly what's going on, but what we do see is that from the level 2 order book, that more people are interested in selling. Some people are buying right here, right? And make sure that you guys understand the concept of a wall. Every single exchange will be able to do this here as well, okay? Now my order is actually just literally right there in front of you guys, okay? So I've actually made $102 right here in front of you guys during the level 2 order book, right? So that's a pretty decent profit. Even though I'm playing a $14,000 position, okay? I'm playing I played a $14,000 position. How much profit did I make right now? 102 divided by 14,000. I made literally almost a 1% profit, which is really not that big of a profit whatsoever, right? But nevertheless, this is what we do for my strategy as well, okay? For my strategy that I'm always employing, what we like to do is we like to make sure that we enter, okay? Now we're going to go over the trade of mine as well, okay? The trade of mine, the reason why I entered it right here was very much so simple, okay? I entered the trade because I was starting to see the RSI very high, and now I'm also starting to see it bearishly diverge right here, okay? It started to bearishly diverge and it was reaching some very high highs, okay? So because it was reaching high highs and we actually got a lower RSI right here, right? That's why I entered the short position right there. And now we're just going to keep reading the level 2 order book together to give you guys an idea of how it's read and why it is so important that you guys learn how to read it. Did you guys notice before when I was saying that, hey, I dumped 2,000, then a guy dumped 1,200 after? Maybe I was the guy that actually signaled to the market to start selling a little bit, right? Maybe it was me. And then after that, we saw like a guy dump 30,000 and then 40,000, right? So when you're seeing people sell that amount right there, it signals to the market that we might want to be going down a little bit, right? Maybe I actually closed my position a little bit too early. I could have taken my profit at a different time, but regardless, right? This is a level 2 order book, and we need to make sure that you guys understand how important this. I know I've said it like 100 times now, but guys, this is the bread and butter right here, okay? This is the pudding. This is the cherry on the top. This is the icing on the cake. We need to understand how to read these together, right? So as soon as it dumped my position, we started to see, and it closed my position, we started to see more people actually end up buying, and that's why there's more green. If you guys actually trade on Bitfinex, just as an example, or whatever exchange, there's usually some book for market depth visualization, okay? Make sure you increase your position right here, increase or decrease precision right here. Okay, if you guys actually zoom in and out, notice the shape of the red and the green changing, right? I zoom out, it gets smaller. I zoom in, it gets bigger. Think of these as a tidal wave, okay? Think of the level 2 order book as a tidal wave, and the side that has a bigger tidal wave, it will eat over to the side, it'll cover over and splash over to the side with the bigger wave. So imagine if this side right here had a lot of people, okay? It had a lot of people that wanted to sell. So this is a very big order right here. Okay, just to give you guys an idea, if this was very much so red on this specific side, you would actually end up seeing it devour over to this side right here, right? But if you saw this side was much more green, for example, then this side was red, then the side with more green will actually end up devouring this side over here. Okay? That is what's going to happen. So once again, if this side was more green with the bigger tidal wave, right, where it showed more green, it'll end up devouring to this side. But if this side was actually showing more red, then it would actually end up devouring over to this side. So this is the importance of how to read the level 2 order book. And there's going to be so many more examples that I'm going to give you guys in real time. So stay tuned. I'll be back in a little bit. Let's get into more of reading the level 2 order book. So right now I'm in a trade for EOS right here, okay? So once again, just as a reminder, the level 2 order book refers to this right here, this entire screen where we are looking at momentum changes, right? Now, it might be a little bit advanced right now to talk about reading the level 2 order book, but I think it's very important for people to get a good grasp on how to read this at a very early stage, in my personal opinion. right? The earlier that you guys learn how to read this, much better it's going to be overall. So here I am. I'm possibly about to make a very quick trade. I entered it more so just so I could make this video, but I think it's really important that we get a good gauge of how to read it early. So this side right here refers to the people that are actually buying, right? These are referring to the bids. And on every exchange that you guys trade on as well, you're going to have access to this order book that's going to show you the history in real time. So make sure that you guys always know where to find this information on your particular exchange. So this side right here, it'll have a bid side, and on the bid side it's going to show the people that are buying. So the people that are selling, so let's say that you're selling, right? If you're selling, you would be selling it to the guys on this side right here that are bidding on a particular price. Now if you are buying, then you would be buying from this particular side right here, right? That's got to make a lot of sense. And then this right here shows you the trade history of everything possibly going on. And we see that right here, for example, we see that the price has spiked up to about 11.5, and now it's simply just going back down. It's kind of on a teeter-totter right now. So let's just keep going very quickly to see where this is actually going to trend. And we're just going to sit here and we're going to read it together. So let's look at this together and see how it's possibly doing right now. So what we see here is there's a lot more people buying than they are actually selling, right? This gives you in real time. We see people buying. A guy just bought at, 16.828 at 300 right here. If we zoom in, and every single exchange will also have this right here, right? We see that there's a lot more pressure for it to actually go down than for it to actually go upwards right here, because we see that this side, it's kind of got the bigger tidal wave, if you guys remember me referring to that. So the side with the bigger tidal wave will tend to devour the side with the smaller tidal wave. So there's a lot of pressure right now for it to go down. But still, even though one side actually has a lot more pressure for it to actually go down, what we see is it's actually not going down, right? In fact, we look on the order book right here and we see a lot of people wanting to actually buy, right? We see a lot more green all across the board right here, which is actually a very good sign right now. So I'm not really up a lot of money right now, but I just want to make this video to be very informative for you guys to get a good grasp on how to read the level 2 order book. And you guys wouldn't really believe me if I were to actually tell you this, but I don't really lose too many trades whatsoever. We see a lot of green, right? I still lose trades, but not a lot at all. We see a lot of green across the board. More people are buying right here than they are definitely selling, which is a very good sign that it's most likely going to end up going upwards. We see this right here, that this is a kind of a small wall, right? We were talking earlier about how people are stacking up these bids right now, but they're slowly chipping it away, as you guys have noticed. And I should close my order in a few seconds, I'm guessing, in a few, not even a minute, and I should be able to fill this up very, very quickly in a very short amount of time. And there we go. And now I just made a quick $63 in front of you guys, right? Not really a lot of profit, but it's just a trade that I wanted to show you how we could actually profit by reading the level 2 order book, right? I sold mine a little bit premature. I definitely could have made a lot more money on this particular trade. But now, if you keep looking at the order book, even though once again that this particular side right here, there's not really a lot of people that want to push it to that side, right? Or sorry, there's a bigger amount of pressure that wants to push to this particular side, right? It wants to push down here because we see the wall a little bit bigger right now, right? So this will be implicative that eventually that it will push it down, guys. It will simply just push it down. So if you guys see really quickly there, in literally 7 minutes, I made $70. Like that's it's if you're averaging it out to $10 a minute, it's actually very respectful, right? Even though I'm playing a larger position, a fairly large position for what I actually did there. I was playing a position of But I make these trades multiple times a day, right? Let me just grab my calculator out to show you my position size that I played. I played 16.917 multiplied by 500. So I played an $8,500 position. But if I take 63 divided by, 8,500, that's about 0.07 or 0.7%, right? It's 0.7%. But let's say now, okay, let's just say, for example, you made 10 of these trades a day, right? Where you're making 10 or even 12% of these a day, right? It was actually 0.7, whatever, 72-ish, 0.72 multiplied by, say, 15 of these trades a day, which takes very minimal amount of time. That's 10% of your money, right? So if you actually had $1,000 to start, and you actually made, you were following my system there, you can grow it by 10% a day very, 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 very easily, guys. Okay. Back in the day when I actually first started YouTubing, I had a series and it was called 200 to starting with $200, grow it from $200 to $9,000 in 90 days. And it actually only took me like I can't remember how long it took me, like less than a month or something to do it. But I've got a lot of different tutorials out there, and I also have tutorials where that were out before that taught you how to grow it from $2,000 to $3,500 in about 6 hours of actual trading as well. But anyways, let's just keep reading the level 2 order book so you guys can get a very good grasp on this, okay? So I'm going to close my position right here, right? There, I just took my profit in front of you guys. It wasn't really a big profit or anything, but the reason why I entered that trade, which we will actually get to in level 17, is simple, guys. We're going to get to in level 17. I simply bought it because the RSI was actually very, very low, right? The RSI was super low, so I bought it and it fit my criteria as well of buying it on the actual bounce, right? I bought it on the bounce just down over here, okay? Down over here because the RSI was getting incredibly low. So now we keep reading the level 2 order book, and what we see is a lot of people are actually buying across the board, right? Tons of people are buying right now. Looks like it's actually going to end up spiking pretty well in price, right? There's lots of green across the board. You guys don't really see that many red sellers. Okay, now there's a little bit of pressure for it to go downwards, right? Now we're seeing a big balance because you see this side, the green, is equal to this side as well, the red. So now there's a very equal balance in pressure. And yeah, that's how we basically do it, right? We just keep going back and forth like this on a wall. And we have to make sure that we read these level 2 order books very often because it will give us the best gauge of what is happening in real time. So when I first started out trading, and the best advice that I can actually give to people is to focus on this right here if you are a day trader. If you guys actually watch this enough, so you a lot of the times you don't really need to watch this right here because this level 2 order book will actually paint a very vivid image in your head. And if it's painting a very vivid image in your head, you can get a really good gauge of what is happening in real time. And this is why I love to focus on the level 2 order book. I don't really care too much about the price action sometimes when it comes to watching the 1 minute chart, right? I personally love to watch the 1 minute chart in terms of for day trading, but when I'm watching the level 2 order book, it gives me way better real-time coverage of what's going on because I can start to visualize it in my head and it paints the picture very vividly for me. And this is a skill that takes a very long time to actually develop. I've spent probably more than I'm guessing you know what? I'm guessing I've spent more than like 5,000 hours of watching the level 2 order book here, but I just want to give you guys a very good introduction of how to read it. So as we saw earlier, when I was mentioned, we saw the green, 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 green. And then all of a sudden we saw it red, right? We saw it red, and then people just ended up dumping it downwards, right? And that's why it changed. The momentum all of a sudden changed in real time. So we see right here, people are slowly buying, but it's starting to slow down, right? These guys on this side right here are starting to stack up a little bit more, which is starting to drive it up. But now a lot of the bears are defending. And the people on this side, see the people on this side? What they want to do is they want to buy to go long. And if they want to go long, it means they want to buy cheap and they want to sell it high, right? But the people on this side, they might be worried that, hey, it's not going to get any higher. So let's actually start selling some of our stuff right here, right now, right? So the people on this side, they decided to sell it because they believe it's actually not going to go any higher. And when they decide to sell it, they might want to be buying it back at a much cheaper price. So we're always going to have these battles of the bulls, right, who want to profit by buying it cheap and then selling it high. And then the bears as well, where they want to actually drive down the price of the market because they believe that the price is not going to get any higher and that they can buy back their coins at a much cheaper price. So these bears between the bulls and the bear, sorry, these wars between the bulls and the bears, you can see kind of like a tug of war, right? There are people who are wanting to sell, there are people who are wanting to buy. So when supply meets demand or demand meets supply, right? That's where we find an equilibrium in the market, and that's where it can go sideways for a little bit until one side eventually overpowers the other side. So right here, what we're seeing is I can just tell by looking on the 1 minute chart, right? It's definitely trending in a way where it looks like it's gonna possibly just go sideways for a little bit or even go down because it does not look like there's going to be a lot of potential for it to go up right now. So now we're seeing it at a 16.9. A lot of people actually ended up buying right now, right? But I believe that just based on how everything is looking, they're simply just going to get slammed back down. So always keep an eye on the level 2 order book. And I'm going to go through another example when I have a live trade for you guys, and we're going to narrate this for an incredibly long time until it starts to stick. Because the ultimate goal, guys, is to honestly turn you into a much better trader. And this right here is a very vital skill. It's not all about patterns, guys. It's not all about learning how to read charts and doing technical analysis. It's the small details that will make you a much more successful trader. And I firmly believe that if you guys invest your time in learning this level 2 order book and you invest tons of effort into it as well, try to get a competitive advantage. Try to do what a lot of people are not focusing on. And a lot of people are not focusing on learning how to read this level 2 order book. So I need you guys to commit, okay? Okay, you guys are my students, and I really want you to commit to learning how to read this level 2 order book on whatever exchange you are on. Wherever it is, guys, it's going to be the exact same format where it will have the bids, where it will have the asks, where it will have the orders as well. And if you guys have seen a lot of my live trading videos, just as this one right here, for example, you're going to clearly and easily see very often that this is my favorite screen to be looking at, and I'm on it all the time, right? It's definitely my absolute favorite screen, and then my eyes are just completely glued to it, and I see this like a story that's being told. I see this like a tug of war. I see one side as the bulls, I see one side as the bears, and they're just constantly fighting to go back and forth, and people are selling, people are buying. One side wants to drive it down, one side wants to buy it upwards. So when we get a very good grasp of this, guys, I promise you it's going to change the way you guys day trade, and you guys are going to be able to tell in very quick real time what is happening in the market, and you will be able to make decisions like that on the fly. So let's get back to it when there's another example, okay? I'll be back later. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's talk more about reading the level 2 order book. So I am in a position right now for IOTA. I'm in a position for about, I think, $25,000. And we're just going to keep reading the level 2 order book. So once again, this side right here are the bids side, okay? The bids, where if you are to sell, you would be selling to the people that are bidding on this particular side over here. And if you are selling, then you'd be, or sorry, if you're buying, then you'd be buying from these guys over here. So this is called the level 2 order book. And this right here is the history of the trades. So as you can see, I'm in a position right here with my particular price at $2.373 for like something like 16,000, whatever I could have filled there. So then we're just going to see if this actually ends up bouncing at all, okay? So we see that a lot of people are interested around the 237 level range right here, okay? We see a big guy that's stacking, right? That we see on IOTA right over there. Lots of people are stacking at that particular price, right? Sorry, I'm just going to get this a little bit bigger here for you guys. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we see some people are interested at 237, right? One guy just sold right here, but we got a really big whale who's stacking about $200,000 trying to move the market upwards. It's what it seems over here, right? I'm just trying to look for a very small scalp opportunity here. Hopefully I can get it to something very reasonable. Maybe if even if it was like $2.40 there, I'd be making about $300 of profit, which will be a very good profit in my opinion. We see more people interested in buying here. We don't really see a lot of people too interested in selling, which is the good part, right? A guy just ended up buying quite a few at 37 right there, $2.37. There's only about 68 orders left right here. So once again, right, this side right here, where it says the amount, and this side where it says the amount, that is the total number of people selling at that specific price, okay? Whereas the total side is the cumulative price. So it adds up all the amounts that are sold prior to that, okay? So we simply can't break above 237 right now, right? There might be something called a hidden wall there, okay? A hidden wall is something that we don't see, right? It's used in this particular order right there where we go hidden. So we don't actually see it according to the public, right? So as you guys can see, there's a lot of people that are buying at the 237 level, but we simply can't break it. Well, where is 237, right? Where is 2.37? People are buying at 2.37, but there's actually no orders here in the book at $2.37. So what this implies is there's a guy with a large amount of IOTA, okay? Really large amount of IOTA where he's actually not showing his order. And because it's hidden, he's usually some sort of whale who's got a ridiculous amount that's not letting the market go up in terms of price. So as you guys can see, people are buying right now at $2.37, but why is it not actually going up in any way at all right now, right? Why is it not going up? So it's usually because I'm also just, don't mind me, I'm also just checking the price here of EOS. So where is it? Okay, do you guys understand the meaning of a hidden wall? Okay, let me go over it again. Okay, it is this order in here, hidden. And what it says is this option allows you to place an order into the book, but not have it displayed to other traders. Okay, so what that means is you place it here in the book, but it's actually not visible to anybody in the public because the order is so large that he doesn't want these prices to actually get affected. Like he doesn't want people to see these orders at all. So it's a very good strategy where if you have a very large amount, okay, you've got a huge amount of whatever coin that you're trading and you don't want the public to see. Because if it's big enough, let's say he actually had an order of 500,000 IOTA, which is like $1 million, well, that's something you definitely don't want the public to see because it's going to scare off the market, right? So instead of actually letting it being displayed in the order book, he makes it a hidden order so people are not going to get too scared off, right? So let's just keep taking a look here. we see tons of people, as you guys can see, buying at the $2.37 range, but it's actually not breaking whatsoever, right? So now we're just going to keep taking a look at it, and I'm going to narrate it for you guys as well as we go through this. So keep in mind that this is very important for you guys to learn how to read the system, okay? Whatever exchange that you're on, you're gonna see it as well, okay? You're gonna see it on whatever exchange you're on, whether it's, the Binance or Bittrex or GDAX or Poloniex or anywhere you trade, Upbit, Hubo, whatever it's called, right? These order books are always going to be there. So make sure you're familiarizing yourself with it. The concepts are exactly the same, where this side here are the bids, this side here is the ask. Do you guys see all these people buying at $2.37 there? Massive hidden wall, right? These hidden walls sometimes take a while for it to break, and we don't exactly know when it's going to break or how much he's got there, but clearly he's got a fairly decent amount there since we keep seeing these orders at $2.37, but they're not being broken. See, this guy bought 8,000, this guy got bought 10,000, this guy bought about 10,000 again, but we're still not seeing it shatter that specific price. So until we see a price higher than $2.37, that's when we're going to know it's actually broken. But as it stands right now, it's being really, really low right now, the price, as you guys can see, right? We're getting kind of a sideways movement right here where it's not going up or down. Massive hidden walls here. The guy simply does not want to let on that he's going to let the price pass. So even though these guys over here are stacking higher than it, they might not actually know what's going on at all. This is more of an experienced strategy that you make note of. So we just got to simply wait and see. So we're still seeing a 237 right here. Is it actually going to get broken? It's just a matter of time until it actually gets broken, because it's not like the guy is going to have, 500 million stacked on there, right? So we just gotta wait and we just gotta be patient. And the reason they do this sometimes is a big strategy where they're trying to get the amount of demand to actually dry up. So if the demand dries up, a lot of the times what could happen is he's actually entering a short position instead of going long, right? So people are actually buying into his short position, and they're going to end up dumping the market to catalyze a very large downtrend. So let's see what happens. Let's just keep taking a look at it here. So we're still at 237, as you guys have noticed, right? Very large hidden wall here. Still at 237. Everybody's trying to buy at 237, but nobody is letting on right now. Nobody's giving up right now. Lots of people are hammering away at this with fairly large amounts as well. I think that the volume is slowly starting to pick up as well. Let's see how high this or how low this could be driven one way or the other. So you notice how many 237s right there are being bought, right? 237, 237. The concept of a hidden wall is extremely important because it's a strategy used to manipulate the market. And if you can spot these hidden walls, you might actually save yourself from a lot of hassle and headache and from being trapped, right? So as a player myself who does this quite often, not with that big amount, but usually my friends and I will tag team. We'll work together. We'll actually get it started, right? We'll get the ball rolling. We'll actually join in together. See, now more people actually bought here at 237, right? This guy actually bought about $20,000 worth, $22,000 worth. Lots of 237s here. So still nothing happening yet. It's still fairly balanced, right? If you also look on the 1 minute chart, if you guys are familiar with this already right now, okay? So even though I might be talking about some fairly advanced concepts right now, the point of this exercise and the point of this particular lesson is so you guys can start familiarizing yourself with how to read the level 2 order book. It is by far the most essential, fundamental, and necessary part of trading because once again, it gives you real-time momentum changes. A momentum change is where you're going on an uptrend, for example, right? You're going on an uptrend and you want to know where all of a sudden it starts to switch to a downtrend based on how much red we see in the book, or if you're going on a downtrend, right? You're going on a downtrend, and then you're seeing a lot of red on this particular side, right? It's red, and then all of a sudden you see it start to turn green in the order book, right? At a very low price, you start to see it turn green. That might be a very good signal that people are actually going to start buying. Still so many people. I'm actually really glad that we caught this right here at this particular price. This is clearly a really large whale. I'm guessing he's got about 90,000 or so that he's selling, or maybe 100,000, because I know for a fact that 100,000 is the most you can actually stack on there. So check out this hidden wall here. It's quite fascinating, right? To see. So every time you place an order in the book, you should be able to see it, right? But because you don't always see every single order, this is usually what ends up happening if it's a hidden order. So now we're just going to keep waiting around. And I'll be back in a few minutes when there's more of an update. I don't want to bore you guys with this, okay? So here we are, still back at it right now, where people simply just cannot break above this $2.37 range. Now, if you guys are familiar with charts thus far, I'm just going to assume that a lot of you guys might not be familiar with them since this is geared towards most definitely beginners and we haven't gone over any charts yet. But this sideways movement right here, where it's neither going up or down, it simply implies that we cannot break it whatsoever, right? So because we can't break it whatsoever, people are more inclined to sell than they are to actually buy. So right now, some people are trying to buy it, but I tweeted about it and it seems like people are really not sure how to handle this right now. Okay. So we're still seeing a lot of people buying, right? Some people are finally starting to undercut and they're realizing, hey, this actually might not get any higher right now, okay? So we see the 5-minute chart here as well. It is extremely low on RSI, right? This is extremely low on RSI. And yeah, anyways, this is about the level 2 though, right? So we're just going to sit here together still, and we're going to try to read this level 2 order book here and make sense of it just to give you guys a gauge of how important it is to learn how to read this. I honestly think that if you guys spend a lot of time learning how to read the level 2 order book, you guys are going to become a very good trader because a good trader should be able to read this very well. And once you have a lot of hours under your belt, of learning how to read this and just grasping the concepts of it, it's going to paint a very vivid picture in your head, and you're going to have some skills that a lot of people won't actually have. A lot of people just simply focus on things like how to draw patterns, right, and stuff like that. But if you guys just focus on the basics like that, then unfortunately you're not going to be as good of a trader as you can possibly be. I assure you guys that get this concept down, guys. Trust me, okay? Get this concept down of learning how to read the level 2 order book, and it's really going to change the way you guys actually trade. It's gonna for the people that are even past beginner level or intermediate level, and if you're more so advanced but you're not familiar with this concept of the level 2 order book yet, I kid you guys not that once you learn it, my goodness, it's gonna change your life, guys, with how simple it is to read this and how fluent trading will become because you will know in real time. Like, it's just, you guys are gonna feel it surge inside of you when these momentum changes actually happen. So we just simply cannot see it break, right? Having a lot of trouble breaking right now the $2.37 range. So once again, I'm going to go over the concept of a hidden wall, okay? Because it might seem very simple, but it is not simple at all. A hidden wall is something where people are using a hidden order that does not show in the order book here, right? We do not see it in the bids. We do not see it in the ask. This $2.37 range right here is completely hidden from the public, and we don't see how much he's actually selling. We don't know the total amount he's selling at that price. We don't know the cumulative amount as well either. So do you guys remember? Test yourselves, okay? What does this column refer to? What does this column refer to? If you guys said that this column right here, the amount, right? It refers to the amount that is being sold at this particular order, at this particular price right here, okay? Now, this right here is the cumulative amount, okay? So, for example, if we go all the way up to 5,100 right here, okay, it will take everything, it'll add up everything up to 5,100, and then this will be the total amount, okay? So this line here, or this line here, the amount is just the amount of orders at that particular price, right? But the total refers to everything up to that specific price in the line that we're in. So getting a gauge of how to use this specific order book, right? It's going to really change the way you guys trade because it will allow you to time and position yourself accordingly. So if you are playing with a certain amount, you'll know exactly how much more until your orders are actually filled. So I'm just going to leave this here for now, just the way it is, and I'll come back to it if there's any more progress. But other than that, this will conclude this particular section of this lesson. But this lesson will be longer. When I have more examples, I'll come back and add to this video. So I'll see you guys very soon. Hey guys, I'm back. Actually, finally, we broke out of this $2.37 range. It actually took an incredible amount of time for us to actually break above it. So let's see if this will actually be able to do anything now, all right? Let's see if we're going to be able to spike it up to a specific price. I mean, the highest that it went right now wasn't really that high, guys. Like, it feels like the liquidity is really high, right? But now the demand is actually incredibly low, and not too many people want to be selling it, right? So I personally believe now that yeah, it's not that many people are interested in buying it right now, okay? So as you guys saw, what happened to the level 2 order book there, a lot of people were trying to smash through that $2.37 range, but nothing really changed too much. The price actually ended up going down instead of upwards, which is kind of crazy when you think about it like that, right? So yeah, sometimes that's what happens right now. So we see a lot of people who bought and they broke through that $2.37 range, but we also saw a lot of people just end up selling it to the red now, right? So you see a lot of red on this side, which means that more people are interested in selling it than actually buying up the price. Even though we broke that barrier right there, that was quite a bit of coins that people wanted to try to break through there. So make sure you guys just keep practicing reading the level 2 action, right? You're going to be able to get a good gauge of the momentum that's happening in real time. So I just wanted to wrap this up very quickly with this particular $2.37 range for IOTA. And when I have more examples, I'll come back to it very soon. See you guys soon. Okay, so we're going to talk more about reading level 2 right now. I'm currently in a trade, and we're in a trade right now for Bitcoin Cash. And if you guys notice here, it looks like there's a channel that's forming right here, right? There's a channel that's forming right here, and it's fairly parallel, you can say, right? So it hit the peak around there. That's where I decided to short it. So I'm in a position right now for roughly, I think, I don't know, $25,000 or something like that. And we're just going to take a look at the level 2 order book. So what we see is we see a lot of people still buying up right now. It's going to 1706, right? It went from 1704. People were selling at 1704 ranges. And now we're going up to about 1706 right here. Now, there's not too much action going on. It's still very slow and steady, but we see the level 2 order books here, the bids and the asks are always changing, right? They're always changing because people are constantly updating their orders left and right. So we have to make sure that we're very diligent when it comes to updating our orders. So now we see people selling at 106 over here. Someone's buying at 106.8. Sorry, when I say 106, I mean 1706.8. So someone's selling at 1706.7. Very, very slow sideways trend. Where do we see the big wall? Remember how I was trying to teach you guys? Always make sure that you're zooming in and out of these at all times, okay? Zoom in and out of these at all times. And we see that there's a fairly big wall on this side, right? The wall is much larger on this side. And remember, we were talking about the tidal waves from before, right? The tidal waves, the ones on this bigger side will usually end up devouring the ones on the smaller side. So let's see how this is doing in a few more minutes. All right, so we're still taking a look at this right now, and we see that a lot of these bots are actually kicking in. Keep in mind that we're playing against a lot of bots at the same time, right? And because there are a lot of bots, they're naturally going to be buying at specific price points. And what we're seeing right now is a lot of action at the $1,700 range, right? You guys see at 1700 right over here, lots of bots. But now we're actually seeing people sell to the 1699 range, right? So it's actually not that bad right now. If you take a look at my position, I'm only down, literally 1%, which is really nothing to be worried about too much at all, right? I'm in a short position from right around here. I shorted it a little bit early, right? But I kind of figured it probably wasn't going to break above this channel resistance, right? I was noticing that there's pretty much a channel over here already that was forming. Very, very unlikely for it to break. So now there's a really big battle between the 1700 range, actually 1699, and the 1700 range. So now it's just going to go back and forth for a little bit, in my opinion, and we never know how this is going to end up. There we go. $1,700 just got shattered, if you guys saw that, right? A lot of people just decided to dump right there. We saw that really big wall of red that you guys saw, right? Now we're at the 1698 range. Now let's see who is going to sell more. There we go. We're now at the 1694 range. So it's actually breaking down even lower right now. We see huge walls of red right now, which automatically signals to the market and to me and to anybody watching the level 2 that more people are interested right now in selling than they're actually in buying, right? So it just goes to show how sometimes the market actually is. So I'm just going to try to actually break even right here because I'm not sure if it's actually going to fall below here. So I'm just going to keep, actually, you never know. We're now at 94. Okay, we're getting even lower, getting much lower than that right here. I'm that's my break even price right there at 1690, right? So let's see how much lower this is going to go. Do you guys think with me right now if it's actually going to break up below here? So I'm only about $50 off right now, right? From my break even price. If this is actually factoring in a bunch of fees, right? But let's just see how low this is actually going to go. So it might even bounce right off of the trend line support, right? But if we actually take a look at all of these other factors right now, if you guys notice right here on the RSI, we're getting a triple peak. I know you guys might not be familiar with this concept yet, but this is what you call a triple peak right there. One, let me just make sure I stay in drawing mode here. Stay in drawing mode. There we go. 1, 2, and 3 right there. So these 3 peaks to me, it signals to the market that we're actually going to end up downtrending pretty hard. So now let's just take a look. There we go. There we go. We are actually dropping right now like a rock. So it's looking very good, right? Did you guys just see that massive dump that just happened right here? Okay. We're slipping below the 1689 range right here, okay? And we're most likely going to break actually this channel resistance, in my opinion, or channel support rather, right? So I've got mine at right around 1681 right here, okay? Now there's a really big wall if you guys notice, right? Really big wall here. It's remember we were talking earlier about the side with the bigger tidal wave, it tends to devour the side with a smaller tidal wave. So if this is the bigger tidal wave side, right, it's got a lot more red on the side. You can zoom in and out however you wish over here, and you can easily see that this side's got a much bigger tidal wave, which is most likely going to end up devouring the side with a smaller tidal wave. So mine is just at about 1681 right here, right? So if I were to close my position, I'd be making about $100, $140 or something like that, which I'm happy with because it's actually 9 in the morning right now. It's 9 in the morning and I actually haven't slept yet. So I think it's actually going to break well below that. So let's just keep taking a look over here and let's just see how this is going to play out, okay? So there we go. It's really dropping right now. It's really dropping because Bitcoin is probably dropping too, I'm guessing. That's usually how it goes. So let's see if this is going to bounce here. We're right at the support right now, as you guys can notice, right? Right at the support. Let's see if there's actually going to be a wick, right? So I want to put mine at actually at 680.1. There we go, 680.1, just above this guy over here who's got a little bit. Let's see how this is actually going to do. But the reason why I don't know if it's going to close and bounce off of here, or it might not bounce off of here, is simply because there's actually the 1 minute chart is very, very, very oversold right now, and it simply just might not make it there, right? So let's just see how this is going to do. But this is a fairly red candle, guys. It's definitely a fairly red candle. It's definitely on a massive downtrend right now, just based on how everything is looking. So it doesn't look like it's going to bounce there, right? But regardless if it does or doesn't, I'm actually just going to close my position because yeah, I'm a little bit tired. That's the truth, right? A little bit tired, and I might want to end my position right here. We see a lot of people coming into the defense right at the support right here, right? You guys see that we're reaching the channel support here. So there's a good chance that we're actually just going to bounce off of it. So let's see how the market ends up reacting to this, all right? There we go. So you see people are actually buying up right here. Okay. You guys see on the 1 minute chart. I know it's a 1 minute chart, right? It's a 1 minute chart, but I'm actually going to close my position just to break even. And there you guys go. Well, I didn't exactly break even. I made $42, right? It wasn't really a lot of money, but you know what? I didn't want to take the risk, right? I didn't actually think it was going to break below it. I think it's going to bounce up here. So I think it was in my personal best interest to definitely just close my position and move on. So I think you guys get a very good idea of what level 2 is now, right? We've been talking about it for a fairly long time in these videos now. So I think I'm going to conclude this lesson for lesson number, which number was it again? Let me just double check here. I don't even remember. My apologies. This would be lesson number 4, reading the level 2 order book, understanding bids and asks, and you guys are going to see me go through these level 2 order books much more often down the road. So thank you very much for joining me for lesson number 4, and I look forward to seeing you for lesson number 5, which will cover what is going long, what is going short, what is margin trading, what is also leveraging. And just on another quick note, guys, have you noticed how I said it was most likely going to bounce? And take a look, guys. It actually ended up bouncing very heavily right off of this support channel, right? So in my opinion, I think that I actually made the right choice to decide to break down from here and actually close my position. If I hadn't, I would have actually been down about $400 right now. So yeah, so thank you very much once again for joining me. I hope that I've given you lots of insight in regards to what reading the level 2 is, what the bids are, what the asks are as well, and especially just in general, getting a really good idea of how to read momentum changes on the fly. So I'll see you guys for lesson 5. Thank you very much for joining me and have yourselves a great day. Bye now.